Well, hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. Hey, in this video I'm going to be showing you how to make another wooden bowl, and I'm going to be using the Arbortech turbo plane and the Manny Carver, showing you how to use those tools. I'm going to be showing you how to finish the bowl up, and I was really pleased with how this turned out. I look forward to giving this to my wife and she can show it off in her kitchen. So join with me and let's get started. Okay guys, in this scene you're seeing me take the turbo plane and I am working on the bottom of the bowl. I am going over it. I'm going to try to actually plane the bottom, try to flatten it. But the other thing you're seeing me doing is I'm trying to get rid of some of the spalted wood and try to get down to that heartwood that's really solid. Unfortunately, some of this wood had, I think in my opinion, spalted too much and was a little too much on the soft side. So I'm going to be going ahead and getting that all off. You can see me gradually starting to get down to that heartwood there in the center, and see if I can work with that a little bit better. Okay, here you can see that I flipped the log over. Now I'm working to plane down the side where I'm going to be carving out the bowl. So I want to get it, use a turbo plane to get this relatively flat. You know, the other thing that I'm trying to do is most wood carvers, we like to get below the pith or the center of the wood, and I did that originally, you know, when I tried splitting this wood. And so I'm just going back and making sure that I'm below that, because if you don't, you risk the problem of maybe cracking or splitting something later on. Now you'll notice that I do have a knot sort of on that one side, and I'm going to have to work with that. But I am fairly below what I think where the pith was, so I should be good as far as continuing to plane this down and begin to hollow out the bowl. Okay, here you can see me sketching out the bowl. The dimensions don't really matter. You just want to leave enough margin around the edge so as you start to shape the bowl and sculpt it down, you leave yourself enough margin around the area where the bowl is going to be. Here you see me with the turbo plane. I've got the turbo plane oriented at like a 45-degree angle, sort of with my body, and that's kind of the sweet spot, I think. But it really also depends on how you are interacting with the grain direction. And the way I like to tell people is you just have to get a feel for it. You have to figure out, and you know, once you see the grain, if the grain is beginning to tear on you a lot, that means that you're probably cutting, you know, against the grain. So then you can just change your position around, change the position of the tool around, until you get smoother cuts. And that means that you're cutting downhill with the grain. It is like a carving blade, so you have to make sure that you're orienting it in the right direction and trying to get smooth cuts. Okay, now I'm moving to another Arbortech tool called the Manny Carver. And I like this tool because it has a small cutting blade. This cutting blade's different than the turbo plane in that it has the cutter on the edge of the wheel. It's a smaller wheel. You can get down a little bit deeper into the bowl, maybe where the turbo plane might not be able to really reach or get down in there. So it's again, you have to get a feel for that and how it works with the grain, and it does come in handy for getting into these kind of tight areas in the bowl and shaping the bowl. Okay, here you can see me using my steel electric chainsaw, and this tool comes in extremely handy for carving and removing excess material. I hope to do some videos maybe in the future, or maybe try to delve into doing a little bit of chainsaw carving, but in this video I'm really using it to trim and get rid of some of that spalted wood that I mentioned earlier. Trying to get down to that heartwood. Here you can see I'm using it to go ahead and trim off some of the corners of that rectangular piece, trying to make it shape more like a bowl and save me a little bit of carving time with other tools. Okay, in the next few scenes you're going to see me working on the ends of the bowl. So that means that I'm carving mainly end grain here. So you're just going to have to get a feel for the blade working on this end grain. If you start seeing a lot of tear out, that means you might need to change your position. Keep changing the tool position around until you get a smooth cut. Okay, here you can see me coming back with the turbo plane and just going back over the top edges of the bowl, just leveling things out a little bit and getting rid of the magic marker marks that I had here before. Okay, now you can see me. I'm using the Arbortech sanding pad, or that serves as a backer for their different sandpaper. I went ahead and actually bought sandpaper that really kind of velcros to this pad. Now you don't have to use their product. If you want to use another sander, that's fine. Wanted to try this out, but I'm moving from like 60 grit to 120 grit up to 240 grit. You can go higher than that if you want, but 240 grit is probably good enough. And then I'm going to probably come back at the end with my orbital sander. Now here you're seeing another attachment. So for the inside of the bowl, I used a combination of the contour sander, which is another product of Arbortech, and the contour sander. It does have an orbital sander type of action, but I also used the regular sander, that just sort of power sander that's also a separate attachment, Arbortech attachment, and in some cases I found it to be a little bit more powerful. But with the contour sander, really good for smoothing things out. Now it's a personal preference. Do you want to smooth out all of the gouge marks, left behind by the carving tools? That's up to you. I like to actually leave a little bit of a hint of that behind, because that tells everybody that it's handmade. But if you want to get it ultra smooth, that's fine too. It's just going to take you a little bit longer, a little more effort to continue to sand it. For the finish, I used Howard's Feed and Wax. I had a whole bottle of this stuff, and I've not used very much of it. But what this stuff is a mixture of beeswax, carnauba, and orange oil. And man, does it smell wonderful. So what I did is I drizzled a lot on there, and then I applied a liberal amount, wiped it on with a clean cloth. Now the bottle says to let it stand for about 20 minutes, and that's what I did. And then I came back after that and just wiped off the excess. Now after I did that, I used a shoe brush, yes, a shoe brush, and I went back over the bowl, and that just helped kind of brush the wax into the grain a little bit better, and also buff the wax a little bit to give it a little bit more of a shine. And man, I love how the grain looks. It really popped out, and overall very pleased with the bowl. I think my wife is going to be pleased with it and enjoy it. I did leave some gouge marks behind. I didn't really sand it perfectly smooth. Obviously the wood leaves behind some of its flaws, or you can really call it beauty, I think. But it's really, that's what I love about wooden bowls, is not really a perfect bowl, but a bowl that just kind of shows off its organic nature, I guess, with the grain, and then maybe even some of the flaws that I left behind, some of the carving. But anyway, I want to thank you again for watching. Check out some of my other carving videos. I do have a couple of good, maybe 2 or 3 carving playlists. So be sure to check those out. I'll try to leave a link in the bottom, or at the end of this video. You can just go right to them. But anyway, thanks for watching again, and we will see you in the next video.